live in a society today whereby, to have your authenticity with yourself, it's something that has been deprived from us by many things today.
Social media.
Absolutely, right? So, growing up, I can rely on you as my brother, as my sister, and we can still have that friendship, that is not based on materialistic things.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I meant to say?
Yeah.
That iPhone.
Yeah, that's it's very common.
So, that they will be telling you, or they will ask you, like, Abudi, can you afford me? Abudi, do you know how much, I bought this outfit? Those are really not the things that actually equates to a woman's value. But a woman's value will always come to the fulfillment of the purpose and the essence of existence in this world. So, timing, you understand?
Yeah, no, I get it.
So, it's almost like, and I always say this, if you can understand timing, you understand entirely everything.
And
if you get to understand timing, you understand entirely everything. There was a time for you to be at primary school.
True.
If you had jumped that phase, you will not be able to be seated right now here and have the ability to adequately communicate with me, and we have this conversation right now.
Basically,
You always biz kids, because to be honest, I've always been a philanthropist from a very, very young age. I remember we used to
for
have a
people
movement.
who don't know what philanthropist is, please let them know. Because hey, the words are wording, eh?
Right now, as I say to you, before us, there was no one. After us, there will be no one, which makes us the only one. We are told that other major platforms that do the same thing that we're doing were found shaking when they were told, Uti, Umangoba, Umkitlisi, Umashaya, Uma podcasting with Darius is coming. Shaya
Nervous.
But why are you nervous? why are you?
I'm always it's my second time hosting, so
Is it?
yeah.
You just have to be yourself. Thank you.
Myself is me not being in front of the cameras. I'm not a camera person.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm not.
There's always a first time for everything, if not twice.
Yo.
You get used to it. People always ask me, so, but how are you able to stand in front of people? And I'm like, guys, when you do something repeatedly, then it becomes...
Yeah, you do it out of it becomes a habit.
Because now, I started standing in front of people when I was in primary school. I used to represent most of my schools with region speech festivals.
So you speak well.
I'm a speaker, yeah.
Oh no, me, I don't speak well. She's gonna make me look bad.
In terms of what? No, we are having a conversation right here. So you got to be relaxed.
I can't be. When you care about something,
You care about something.
you don't get to be relaxed. Yo.
Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah, we can say that. We live. Yo, welcome back to Podcasting with Darius, without Darius. I'm with the most beautifulest. I know beautifulest is not a word, Mara. We're making it a word today. I'm with the most beautifulest woman in the world right now. Yes, the world. Boipelo, Letlape. Did I say it right?
Yeah, Letlape. You can always say the rock though. I'm kidding.
I guess give me the rock today.
Letlape, but yeah.
I know someone actually with a similar surname. I
Is
used to
it?
have a friend with a
Letlape or Letlapa?
Letlape.
Letlape.
Yeah, but he changed. I don't know why he changed the surname, but yeah, for the longest time he was using the surname.
Oh wow, yeah. Some people actually sometimes believe for Letlapa it was meant to be the rock, but
So, Omotswan.
Motswana wa Bakhatla.
Ba
Bagoga mocha.
So-
Masube.
Yo. Hey, she's making me look bad because nah, ke Motswana saying kana ba di bitsang?
How would you say, like, your with this rata sa go gen,
Yeah, serete. Ba itse serete wa fit.
but why tsogile ana eng?
I'm a moral CK next.
The modern generation.
I'm a modern generation. I'm making my family look bad, Mara. Yeah, they're gonna have to. I know the serete from my mom's side, but I don't know from my dad's side, and that's the original. That's
Is
me.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, for me, it was given to be my late great grandmother. And the last time that she gave it to me, she was saying to me, I'm never going to give you again. So actually, we had a homework, you must come and present. And I'm putting so, but then this is the last time I'm doing it. If you don't get it this time, you will never. And indeed, afterwards, a couple of years later, she passed on, but I still have it now.
So, did you write it down?
Yeah, but I know how to recite it, in my head. It's very important to know your roots.
True. Yo, I also know my roots as much as I don't know. As much as I don't know, serete sa ko hae, mara I'm tapped in like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, genale Boipelo, Letlape, from kind of Mpake. No,
Wow.
that's Mpake.
Bandrekisa, net fela ka mo. I'm being so
Wait, Mametlhage. I'm
Bandrekisa so.
How to Mametlhage? Mambudisa ro tsa Mametlhage.
It's on my like.
Ke Pankop. Oh yeah, Pankop. Ke Pankop. It's like what's those three? Because those are the most common. names.
But then it's also popularly known as Masube.
Oh, I've never heard that name, and we've had people from
Is
those
it?
regions. Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite interesting because the Pankop name, it's derived from the pan and the cup. So what we do have is that we have a table. I mean, I nearly said Table Mountain. Sorry.
On the table mountain.
We have a mountain there, which is like, in the structure of a cup. It's Afrikaans, obviously. And then we have like, it's a pan cup, and then there's a pan. Obviously more like a pond of water. Then that's how the name came to be. So it's called pan cup.
She's tapped in. I want to go to tapped in. So you grew up there
Yeah.
your entire childhood?
Yes, basically. So most of my childhood has been cultivated in the grounds of Masube, the village. Yeah, basically.
How was it growing up there?
Um,
For someone who has never been there. Me.
What I can tell you is that it was amazing, having a quite pure childhood, whereby you get to find yourself, really. I think the most amazing thing is authenticity. We live in a society today whereby, to have your authenticity with yourself, it's something that has been deprived from us by many things today.
Social media.
Absolutely, right? So, kanako ya rona, growing up, we know horepona. We would go out, we will play. Today, you don't get to find kids playing. Phone, social
Oh, yeah,
media,
true,
everything
true.
else. So, but then growing up there, it has been quite, amazing. It's beautiful. There's, we still have the dignified culture, that we have, the essence of knowing, truly the value of being a child and being a respectful one. And I think for me, basically, my entire me being to be the woman that I am today has really been greatly motivated by my roots. Pankop. So I wanted to always be that kind of a woman who comes from, a place like Pankop and be able to demonstrate to other young women out there that it's possible. It does not matter, your background. It doesn't have to define you, It does not matter how it seems as if like it's a dhow or it's a village or it's what we call a rural area. But then you can still make it to achieve your dreams at whatever, against all odds.
I feel like growing up in a rural area is better than growing up anywhere else in the world. I mean, if you want fruits, they're there.
Yeah. Right. That's so true.
And in your backyard, everybody knows everybody.
Absolutely true. I mean, you get to go high na ko rena ko Bankopo, go na le dinare ke go na le di avocado, and they are very, very scrumptious. Then you get to Ulu, it's about rekisetsa yona ka 80 rand. How come?
Because it's in the aircon.
You know what I mean? But that's really the nicest part about, growing up in the villages and all of that, because you still treasure the simplest things, the simplest pleasures of life.
True.
So, yeah, I mean, it's really nice, to be right there and to still connect with people. Wa tlhaloganya? Go itse gore o motho ka batho, go itse gore I can rely on you as my brother, as my sister, and we can still have that friendship, that is not based on materialistic things.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I
true.
meant to say?
Yeah.
That nna ke chomana le batho ba ba tsamayang ka di-iPhone fela.
Yeah, that's
You
it's
know,
very common.
So those things, that's
Yeah.
what you get to really get out of growing up from such, areas.
I'm also a rural kid, by the way, Mara.
Hello.
Yeah, I was for the first 8 years of my life, grew up in it's not really a rural area, Mara. It's a place where taxis are magadinako.
So there's a bit of
There's a bit of because it's going to be at a certain place.
yeah, and then how come I taxi and below who
Now we throw for the day.
But and I think it's those things
Both
absolutely.
teaches you to speak to people, to always ask, how do I do this? How do I do that?
Sure.
You get comfortable with speaking with people you don't know, basically.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
so I have your profile open here, and that's long. I don't think I'm gonna go through everything that's here. Mara, the most prominent thing here is modeling, basically, like
Yeah.
working with brands. Have you always wanted to be a model? Like, how did you get into modeling?
Well, when coming to modeling, basically, it was just the passion. I've always wanted to be the change that I wish to see in the world. And then it grabs me that, I look into the world today and I see women. I've never wanted to be known as a woman who just looks beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I've always believed there's more to me.
Oh,
There's
there is.
more to give. There's more to live for, more than just what I look like.
Oh, yeah.
And I really wanted to put a mark on that, to also pave a way for the next generation. So I saw modeling, which is respectively one of the reasons why I went, the route of pageantry and not necessarily just the modeling of fashion, and that's just about it.
What's the difference between the normal modeling and pageantry?
So when it comes to the pageantry, it's the likes of Miss South Africa and, Miss Earth, Miss World, Miss Universe, Miss Green South Africa, which is the one that I actually was the part of, in 2020, before the COVID-19 happened.
Yeah, I think when I looked you up, Miss SA popped up.
Yeah, because I've just quite really been, I've been associated with several platforms that entails Miss South Africa, Miss something South Africa, South Africa. Right now,
Yeah, so you pop up on Google. You can Google it, so show up. Not everybody who was here shows up on Google, by the way. Even I don't show up on Google.
Oh my gosh.
And I work with Google.
Flattered. I'm so flattered.
So yeah.
But yeah, for me, so modeling, it gives you the opportunity to now, engage with people, know what the problems that people are struggling with, and try to be the bridge, try to be the loophole. So, it's like you are being a service to other people. I've always had a spirit of servitude. I've always been a community developer voluntarily. And so I figured that, with pageantry, because it allows you to have the voice, become the voice of the voiceless, and also, be able to influence the perceptions of the masses into the right, direction. So that's why I went for your likes of pageantry instead of commercial. Those commercials ones are just pretty much more like, working right on a rampage and, advertising, closing, that's just about it. But I wanted something that will give me the platform that I can open my mouth, I can speak something, and I can, develop myself to become a very substantial and insightful woman who can contribute to all the issues that are affecting the society.
And you are well spoken. I wish I could express myself the way you express yourself. Because if I was to express myself now, the sharply touch and go.
We learn every single
So
day.
how did you get into it? How did you get into pageantry?
You pay your way forward by exposure. You get out there.
So let's say
You work.
I'm a high school kid and I want to get into modeling. What's the first steps that I take to get into it, into pageantry or modeling? What do I do? I'm just chilling. I'm watching this now and I want to do it, but I don't know where to start.
Well, you need to first, idealize yourself into the person that you aspire to become, right? So when I started, the first image that came to mind was the representation of a woman who is impacting other women out there inspiring them to go after their dreams and goals. And then from there onwards, then it gave me really, the power, the energy to harness that and to cultivate it out. And then by so doing, then I was able to, but by the way, I really definitely made a huge mistake, guys. So me as a woman, I put God first above everything else, right? And I must emphasize that you can never make it in anything without God. And ask him for the wisdom, to meet the right people at the right time and to also be exposed to the right kind of platforms. It's so very important. So when you are embarking on such journey, and I think really that exactly what has transpired with me, because it was a purposeful thing more than just, I really want to be out there. I want people to just support me. I want to be the woman who just gets there and, people see me, oh, I look beautiful, I'm Boipelo Letlape. No.
Yeah.
It's always from the place of purpose. What am I here for? I'm here to serve the people. I'm here to become a solution instead of a problem. I'm here to be a representative. I'm here to be the kind of a person who says that if people do not want to go there, but I can always go there because I have the courage and boldness to be there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting. So what was your first pageant or first modeling gig? Even if it wasn't paying.
Okay.
But what was your first one?
Yeah, so the first one that I did, actually, I organized the fashion show at church.
At church? And they let you do it?
Yeah. And it was a success.
Sounds like a nice church.
No, really. You know what I mean? And now it brings you to this. So another side of it was that, we live in a society, I mean, even today we can see it with so many women. We are struggling with what we call identity crisis.
Oh, yeah. Everybody does, I think. Even the
But I
guys.
feel like to women, it's so incredibly worse because so many women have lost themselves.
Oh, yeah.
So many women, they do not know their worth. They do not know their values.
True.
So many women have traded their destinies and their dignities for the things of this world.
Yeah.
And that alone has actually stolen so much, because today when you ask a woman, who are you? What are you? The question that they will be telling you, or they will ask you, is like, Awudi, can you afford me? Awudi, do you know how much, I bought this outfit? Those are really not the things that actually equates to a woman's value. But a woman's value will always come to the fulfillment of the purpose and the essence of existence in this world. So, when coming to me particularly, that is also something that I wanted, to take as a non-conventional route. I came with it to say that you can still become a woman of God and still be beautiful and express it in a more dignified and respectful way, more than you having to contribute more problems into the society.
Oh, yeah. But I get feminism,
I don't like, and I always say this, even when I do my empowerment talks, I always say to people that, you must be able to understand what you are saying. When you use certain terms, understand really what is it that you are sending out there as a message. There's this thing of saying, I'm a feminist. Yes, you can still become a woman who is empowered, but it does not mean that you need to take men down in order for you to be uplifted.
True.
We need each other in order for us to be in a better society and live progressively.
Yeah, nobody's looking out for the young men now.
No, and reasonably, I like it, and I must, put it out there and say that I admire those that are taking the stance, and the pledge to say that we are creating platforms for men, to have a supporting structure. Because today, one of the reasons why we have high, rate of men that are committing suicide, it's simply because they have not been afforded the platform to become men and be expressive at the things that they struggle with.
True. Even corporate, it's not looking for men now.
You understand what I'm talking about. So I have one of my brothers out there, I would want to put a spotlight on him, he's doing an incredible work out there. The likes of, Kabelo Chabalala, I don't know if you know him, but he's got a movement of men. We've got the likes of Michael Tepotabane out there that are really doing the best they possibly can.
Come to the show.
They will. They must.
Come to the show. We need to speak to this young man. Please come to the show. Yeah.
So it's always so good to see men doing the most out there, because really, I think I empower women, but then I can tell you will never find me having to be even invited to talk to women without having to signify the importance of let's come together. Let's support this very same man, because men are actually considered to be our herds. Today we live in a society whereby we lack men, and that basically means that in a household you lack leadership. And if there's no leadership, it basically means that that house can actually suffer the instability. In as much as we women, we want to become men, but we definitely cannot take the role of man.
Yeah, we are in our soft man era. Soft boy era.
This conflict, you know that, guys. This conflict,
Yeah.
but it's so important. I think what really needs to happen in our society is that we need to go back to the drawing board. We need to assess our roles, and we need to embrace them uniquely. There's no way that I can be able to make it without you.
True.
You know,
Yeah,
it does not
vice
mean
versa.
that it makes me weak, but we need each other in order for us to move forward.
Yeah, but people believe they don't need each other, unfortunately. That's the world we live in right now.
I feel like we live in a society whereby so many people have been hurt, many
True.
people are bruised,
True.
and then they have not yet dealt with the traumas, or rather they have not yet healed.
We can't move on, unfortunately. I don't know why. People in general nowadays can't move on, but a lot of people can't move on right now. It's a thing where we sit on our feelings. The world tells you, yo, you gotta go through it, blah 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 blah. So in return, I feel like that's why we always have like these mental issues, blah 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 blah, because we always sit on problems. Back then, the people back then didn't have time to sit on their problems and think about it. You went through it, you move on, and you go. I know it's a wild take, Mara. That's how it was.
But you know, at the same time, I feel like, you know, it's your responsibility. For an example, you know, I will normally tell those that know me closest to me, and I say that each and every day I have a meeting with myself.
Yeah, introspect.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Intrapersonal communication with myself, because that's how I'm able to accurately be honest with myself.
Yeah,
I can
true.
even tell myself, no, Boipelo, but mola o wrong.
Yeah.
That's how you become better. So, Rona, what I have realized is that we are in a world of social media era.
Yeah.
You understand? And we have a lot of coping mechanism.
That's true.
We've got alcohol abuse, substance abuse.
Yeah.
Re
that's
na le
true.
menate. You
More than
understand?
anything, yeah.
And those things also have messed up our priorities as a nation, especially as the youth.
Oh yeah, that's
And
true.
if that has become the case, it means that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. You know, that is something that is continually being said by many ladies out there. But it is important to take accountability. Like who face my demoni arona, basically.
Yeah, and we act like we're facing them.
You understand?
Yeah.
And you are not doing yourself any justice by that. But it's important, you know, it's important to say, you know, and also I think we live in a society or in the times whereby we are so judgmental towards one another.
True. And also we feel entitled to things.
Absolutely. And also, again, priorities. Like, it is so important for me to want to compete with you more than I have to get things right.
Oh yeah.
It is so important for me to make it in life. It does not matter at whatever cost, but as long as I make it and you can see that I've made it, then, you know, it gives me this bizarre fulfillment. And really, you know, that's delusion.
Yeah, we don't like putting each other on. It's like I want to get on so that I can tell you that yo, I'm on and do things for you.
It's like we live. I don't know how did we come to this point, but we have really gotten so many things wrong.
Yeah, I know it's messed up.
Yeah, but you know the issues that we are talking about now. It gives you the essence of why I did pageantry. It gave me the platform to speak to people, to address the people, to give me the courage to want to become the solution. I don't know. It doesn't mean that, you know, I can touch as many millions people, you know, lives, but even if I can touch just one young woman, two, whatever that they take away, that's good for me. I've done my part.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I wish
It's like that.
You can start your own podcast.
They've asked me to do that, and I'm like, nah. You know, I'm a disciplinarian. So for me, seasons and timings are everything.
Hey, I wish. I used to think I have discipline. I get a discipline. Next.
So for me, I don't go with the hype. I don't go with the noises, but I go with, is this the right timing? God, you know, they say that just because it's your time, or rather just because you've been given a certain chance, it does not mean that it's your time.
So how do you know if it's your time or not?
How do you know it's your time? Because everything around you should actually be able to signify that to you.
Sometimes things will get hard, Mara, you know.
You know, when you have the ability to conduct yourself not according to your external but according to your internal, that's how you know that you've mastered it.
Yeah.
So there's a timing for each and everything in this world. And I will say to people that there was a time for you to be best. There's a time for you to pass away from this world.
True.
So if you invest much more into understanding the season that you are in, like for an example, I truly understand the season I'm in right now. You know, I was Boipelo Letlape at certain space or certain phase of my life. There were certain things that I needed to learn then. I've learned them. Now, I have now stepped into this new phenomena of another phase of my life as another woman again, which I understand primarily, even the elements surrounding me.
That's wild.
Yeah,
I'm learning today. Today I'm
so
learning.
it's really about timing, you understand?
Yeah, no, I get it.
So it's almost like, and I always say this, you know, if you can understand timing, you understand entirely everything.
And
If you get to understand timing, you understand entirely everything. There was a time for you to be at primary school.
true.
If you had jumped that phase, you will not be able to be seated right now here and have the ability to adequately communicate with me, and we have this conversation right now.
Basically, I'd be dumb. Basically, the importance of
So-
education, you see.
It's so important. It's so important for you to find. And generation it's about the hype.
Yeah, everything is about hype right
You know,
now, unfortunately.
like once you see somebody doing something, we want to do it. Like, but
Yeah.
then, you know, and I always say this to people as well. And I'm like, but you know, in the midst of all that you are doing, is it something that God said that you should do? Because that is so important. I mean, he says that you can make as many plans, but it's always his will that prevails. So meaning that anything that is not his will and anything that is not attached to his will for your life, it will not come to pass.
Yo. The speechless, no.
You know?
Okay, cool. We'll go
Meaning
back.
that you can say, by the age of 25, God, I want to see myself driving a Maserati, you know? But
God-
God says, nah,
God will
by
be like-
25, my child, you'll probably be in class and I am dealing with your character and your ego and your pride. Because if I give you that Maserati before I deal with your character, you're going to walk around, you know, and disrespecting people and thinking you're all that. So before this blessing kills you, let me teach you how to do it in the nicest and, you know, more powerful way. And that is you get wisdom.
But sometimes there's people that get everything that they want, and they're not the most disciplined people in the world.
It's not everything that you see that is real.
Okay. So it's just like social media where someone
Absolutely.
posts the good stuff and hides the bad stuff.
No, all that glitters is actually, you know.
It's called.
Absolutely. And that's one thing that also we have mastered as a humanity.
Yeah, we must not lie.
We've mastered to hide things, guys. We've mastered. Like, you know, like you would rather, I don't know, you would rather, and you see this thing, for me personally, I ask myself, like, you know, in 24 hours, in a day alone is not even enough for me to do the things that I really want to do. And I ask myself, so to these people that are always on social media and, you know, shooting everything and whatever, like, where do you get time to be in your space or cocoon with God and pray? Where do you get time to relax? Where do you get time to do your self-development and all of that?
And they
Because-
always claim,
Absolutely.
yeah,
You know?
we pray, speak to God every day.
By the time you are old, what have you done? Nothing substantial.
Yeah.
What lives have you changed? Nothing. What did you live for? Minati.
Yeah, you were
know?
outside the whole day, every day.
We've seen you, yes, you were wearing your Gucci, and we saw you were changing cars, and, you know, but even on your last day, at your funeral, we're not going to be talking about, oh yeah, did you see that brother? He was driving a Bentley.
They'll talk.
Well, they talk, but that's about it.
Yeah,
You know, I don't want to mention names, but
You can drop.
uh,
It's a safe space. Nobody watches this.
no! You know what? I'm one person who likes to really, I can't be judgmental. Because I to myself also might not see the errors. But then I've learned to extend grace to one another. And the most important thing for me is that we may enlighten ourselves. Even when I say something, or to my friend or somebody else, I'm not saying it particularly because I want to bring you down, but I say it because I love you and I love the best for you.
So how do you call people out? Do you just call them out and be like, yo, you're messing up?
One thing about me is that I can't lie and I can't pretend.
So you just tell them, chief. Mm-mm.
And yeah, I'll tell you. Well, if I feel strongly something, I'll tell you. I can't lie. I'll tell you that I don't. Yeah, I'm a very authentic person.
Yeah, I'll ghost you.
Which is why I own up. And I've always said this. Even my choices and decisions in life, there's never been anybody that said to me, Boipelo, this is what you need to do. You know why? And that is the very powerful thing, because at the end of the day, even when I make choices or decisions, I cannot blame you and say, nah, Darius made me do this. So go and ask Darius that, why did I make this choice? No, I fully make those choices. And at the end of the day, I put myself in a place to take accountability of the decisions that I've made.
Oh, that's fire.
See?
So you hold yourself accountable
Absolutely.
at all times.
And I am very, very, my modus operandi in life is to have a teachable spirit. I'm not Miss Know It All.
Modus operandi. There's a lot of people that don't know what a modus operandi is. Fortunately, now you know, but if you don't know, go Google what's a modus operandi.
So I literally, I always want to learn. It does not matter. I know that even right now, I'm going to learn a couple of few things from you.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. I'm down.
Absolutely not.
I'm kidding. I'm just messing with everybody. But yeah, I see you've worked with a couple of brands. I don't know if I should mention all of them. But yeah, you've made appearances on Top Billing. Most of our audiences might be young and not know what Top Billing is. But it was a luxurious show that showed people's houses, lifestyles, and everything. Before Instagram, there was Top Billing, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we used to watch. I used to watch the repeats on Sundays.
Very inspiring.
It was crazy. First time, I think Wanang used to kill it. And there was the other dude, man. I forgot his name, but yeah, there was that dude. So how do you get those appearances? How did you get to be on those TV shows?
Alignment.
And I see you were on Daily Theatre, so I know you speak very well. Because everybody that's on there has an opinion, and the opinions are, you can't just go on Daily Theatre and not theatre properly.
Yes, you must theatre.
You must theatre. You must be able to conduct yourself.
But yeah, it's all about alignment.
So how did you get there? I want to know, was it because of those pageants that you did, before that made you end up on those shows, or was it?
I will say, and it's very funny because I normally get to be asked those questions, but to be honest, I don't plan these things.
It just happens.
They just happen.
Hey, shout out to God.
Hallelujah! He deserves all of that, because, and it's always also myself when I look back and I'm like, wow, so you took me from this. And I remember, I think during those times, I knew, and I've always known, it brings us back to that time, to understand the seasons and timings. I knew that every single year there's going to be some kind of a highlight of my life, that God is going to be doing something every year. I can tell you that. That's how it has been.
Since birth.
From the times of Daily Theatre, I remember from Daily Theatre, then became top billing. From Top Billing, then it was the likes of your Darling South Africa. Then it was Miss Green South Africa. And it's that is God. Then somehow I also shot for Lorna Jane South Africa Fitness Wear. But those are the things, certain things I don't actually post them. I don't share with people.
Why?
I don't know. I like just being grounded.
Hey, but sometimes you must just let them know. Pop out and show me this.
And I mean, even this year, I was shooting with the likes of Casper Vest. We shot a music video. I know a lot of people don't know about it out there, but and non-fundo more.
Yo.
Yeah, so I actually I did a mini screen. I was one of the featured ones called Generations as well, Legacy, and also Komovango. I think they actually happened on the same day. You see, that's when you know that
I know that's why.
I just. Because this is how it happened. So this is how it happened.
So it just happened. You just woke up, got calls.
I get a call. Can you come tomorrow? We're shooting. We're this and this. Okay, fine. It happened with also Generations, and I went there. Can you believe it that immediately after shooting for Generations, then they came and called us, specifically a couple of you of us, and it's we need some other cast out there next door. I mean, and it's the studio. It's Generation Studio. Then the next is Muvango.
Yeah,
Then I went to Muvango and I showed at Muvango. And I'm like, okay.
If you know SABC Studios, you know. If you've never been there, unfortunately.
So that's exactly how it happened. And I did not plan it. You see, even with top billing, I remember I was just coming out of the dressing, and we were so many of us because there's so many contestants. I was just coming out and, on the passage and immediately stepping out, and, the mic was right in front of me and there's cameras, and I'm like, okay, there's an interview. And I'm like, what's going on? I just had to walk with it, so that's really how it happens with my life. But it's about the power of repositioning. And I always see that obedience is better than a sacrifice. When God says that, seek first my kingdom and my righteousness, then all things shall be added unto you. I think really that's how my life is like. That's how it unfolds. Most of the things, I cannot take credit for them because I cannot answer for how they've happened, because that is the equivalent of God demonstrating his power.
So even your brand, like you don't know how you built it up to get to a point where it is right now.
No, absolutely. Even right now, the things that are happening, I'm just like, yeah, okay.
That's just wild. Because we've had people come here, and so they said where you're sitting right now, and they claimed to be bigger than life, basically.
Really?
Yeah. We've had people that come here and they're like, yeah, we're working with brands. We've shot with people that wanted us to not put up the episodes because they were working with brands.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is one thing, because I think for me it's always been the matter of the non-conventional route that I'm talking about. You see our system. I've always believed that there's no way that we can all come into this world, and be told this is how you should live, go to school for 12 years, go and work for somebody else, and that's it. But there's always been this spirit inside of me that say, no, there's got to be some other way, guys. Come on. I don't know how, but there must be something, God, And it takes so much of bravery for you to know, because it's going to also require you to pay the price. And the price that you need to require, that you're required to pay, is that with your faith. Tumelo ya hao.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because take it for myself, and people wouldn't understand. After I went to university, I did media practices with Boston Media House. I did media practices with a specialization in public relations.
So you're amazing at PR.
Yeah.
If I was to give you my brand right now, I'd be like, yo, let's go.
Yeah, I know my way around.
You'll train me to also be able to speak the same way as you speak.
Well, maybe that is a gift. Maybe that is, but I've always been,
Media training. You wouldn't be able to media train me.
I can, because
show
I
up.
have.
Yeah, and show up.
So it goes back to, with what I had accumulated from the media, and, instead of me looking for a job, I went back to vulnerable communities. I went back to my village. I went, to the surrounding, outsiders as well. And then I just gave away that, and I was empowering young women because that was my passion. So, yeah, and voluntarily so. And I'm sure people were thinking like, yeah, this child is crazy. What the heck? Because people were even watching me go high. Like, are you telling me that somebody who speaks English like this is living here? Are you from here? And I'm like,
yeah, no, you're well spoken, sure. I'm still mind blown.
And I'm like, guys, but besides that, yes, I'm from here, and I'm a purposeful child, and I'm not here because of anything. But again, I knew that there will be a time whereby I will have to leave my village, but then at least I would have left something. And even when I leave, it does not mean that I'm going to forget about it, but I'm leaving because I need to take care of another thing and bring back some resources so that I can empower back and plow back again and again. And create a legacy.
Yeah, no, I want to live like you, sure.
The price you need to pay, though. I say to people that you need to pay the price for the price, because, and people always ask me, but how do you live, and all of that. I've never been quite obsessed about materialistic things. I've never been quite obsessed about the lifestyles and whatever. For me, it's always been about purpose.
But are you happy, though?
Am I happy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you this one thing. Trust me. Once you find your purpose, you run with it. It fulfills you. You go to bed knowing that you've changed somebody else's life, and there is nothing that can come closer to that feeling.
But how do you find your purpose? Because I feel like a lot of us are just running around purposeless here.
When you find your purpose, you need to eliminate the voices of this world and allow the voice of God to be heightened. And it means that I'm willing to surrender each and everything that God says that I need to surrender in order for me to find His voice. It also means that I'm willing to let go of the things that I think they are worthy in order for me to find that which God says that it is more than worthy for me to have.
Yeah.
Meaning that I need to also die to myself every single day. That if God says to me, my child, there's a ticket to Mauritius, but I believe that, let's not go off, Mauritius. Let you wait about 3 years, nyana. And in 5 years' time, get la hofa. And trust me, when God says that, He's not going to show up with something that's average. He's going to show up with something bigger and better than that.
True.
So
Might scare you.
It's absolutely. So you understand. That's why Kubotaka Dumelo. So for me, I've lived my life in the surrendering moments with God. It did not matter how I felt at times. It did not matter what is it that I wanted, but it was a matter of what does God want. And from what God wants, then it fulfills me.
So how do you hear God?
How do we hear Him?
Yeah, because maybe nugget, I'm deaf.
How do you hear me right now?
With my ears.
Because of what? And we are communicating.
We're communicating.
But I can tell you, there are some people that of which they do not talk to God every single day, and
Yeah,
they
I know,
expect
I
to
know
hear
a couple.
from Him. So how do you expect to hear from somebody whom you don't communicate with, or you have not formed a relationship with?
Tough.
Thank you. That's your answer. You see? So
basically-
it's the little things.
So I must talk to him every day in order for me to
must.
hear. Sometimes you talk to him, yeah, but I don't think we're doing it right.
What? Wait, who are you to? There's this.
It's because you're not hearing the things that people say they're hearing. That's
the problem.
Yeah.
You know what? That's the problem. Okay, I'm going to take you to the scripture. When He says that, and this is the famous scripture that people like to quote, but I always wonder if people really get to chill and relax more so and understand exactly what it says. Because it says that Jeremiah 29:11, people quote it a lot. I alone know the plans I have for you, the plans not to harm you but to prosper you and give you hope and future.
Yeah, that's the most common.
I alone. Did it say I and your friends?
No.
I and your parents?
Even at church.
I and your cousin? No. But it says I alone. So why are you going to now include other voices in the equation whereby God is the one who must take the lead?
We believe the church, the community, so automatically everybody.
No, that's the thing. It's equally the same reason as thinking that just because somebody's a pastor does not mean that they cannot fall short.
Oh, true.
They
I
are
believe
still
that one.
humans. Like I myself personally, I do have, I do minister. By the way, the side of me, another part is that I minister as well.
Yeah, you should put that on your.
But it's something that you know what I mean. So it's really and it's also something that I don't like. I've allowed myself to be intimately acquainted with God, but also understanding that I cannot go in advance of Him. But rather, He must lead me. Because when they can easily even appoint themselves, eh?
Yeah.
Like you appoint yourself in an office, like, I'm this.
That's sickness, by the way.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because but too obsessed to get titles and positions. At the end of the day, you are never even prepared for that, but you're already ordaining yourself.
Yeah. They think they're bigger than everything, bigger than life.
You can't be.
Yeah, there's people who think they are, and
well, I also like it. Those that make themselves great will be humbled. Those that humble themselves will be made great.
True. Someone once told me that person had just lost his mother, and then she lost his father a couple of weeks later, and he wasn't the only child, but his father had other kids. Was the only child to his mother, and then he felt like like God forsake me, and then he asked a question where he said, why is there always pain where my people are? Basically black people.
Yeah.
And then he said, I'm saying this while I'm looking at the pasta drive of in this Mercedes Benz.
Wow.
So you see, sometimes it's very hard to.
I truly do understand. But now also I'm going to say this, that it goes back to, I think multiple times ever since we started this conversation, I've been talking about purpose.
Yeah, that's the one thing
It's so important. I just want you to find it, it's so important because it has so many angles towards it. You understand? Like, we are here to serve a certain purpose, a certain assignment. I'm here to have my purpose.
Yeah, you're here to teach us about God, basically. Let us
And to
know,
find God in
Yeah,
everything.
find God in everything. But how do you find God in everything? Because it's tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Why do you say it's tough? It's because maybe you've put God in a certain box and say, no, mudimu umugrafela mona.
No. Yeah, well, that's what.
But people say.
Not even what people say. It's what we found when we got to Earth.
Exactly. So
'Cause-
the minute that you start to question that which you have found, because that's what I did. I remember growing up, it came to a point where for myself, I said to myself that I went to church, I've had the pastor preaching about this God, but God, I want to experience you myself. You see? Now this is me and God. I don't want to hear anybody telling me about this God, but I really want to experience him myself. And really, since then my life became the way it is.
Yeah.
Now it answers to almost everything, how everything unfolds. It does not really necessarily mean that I do not have life that has problems. But I understand that I have a life with problems, but then those problems or oppositions, it's an opportunity for God to show up.
Someone once said that where our intelligence ends, or God's starts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like I should become a preacher in my next life. I'm kidding, yo.
You never know. And I'm telling you, one thing about life is that it's not a matter of you choose for yourself. You've already been chosen for whatever that.
I believe that. Cause
Everything has been predetermined.
Because 90% of the things I do, I've seen before. Deja vu. They
Thank
feel
you
like
so
deja
much.
vu.
You see?
Yeah.
It's like that. So even with me, how did I become into modeling? I mean, from modeling to becoming a speaker to ministering to now, finding myself as this. I'm not gonna say what I'm doing right now.
Why? Why would
But
you
I'm
not?
just, I'm just really I like becoming the change that I wish to see in the world.
So was it from you knew that, like, what happened? I want to know what happened after high school. Like, what was the whole process? Like, after high school, sharp, you're done with matric. Now the results are out. What's the next step? What did you do from
The
there?
funny part about it is, I would call it probably an adversary because I changed school 3 times during the period of my high school time.
Oh my goodness, why?
And that really kind of derailed my studies to an extent that I kind of really believe partially I nearly got depressed because from being an A student who received awards, bona, and to now becoming an average kid.
I think every person I know has went through that phase.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
For me, it was the
everybody-
worst period of my life because I literally felt like my life has ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I changed 3 times. I left my village. I went to Gausai. From Gausai, I went to Pretoria. In 3 years, I've changed 3 times. And when you look into this educational systems and teaching systems, I mean, it's different types of provinces. It's Mpumalanga, it's Gauteng, and it's Northwest.
Yeah.
Now I had to start, but I had to fight through.
Yeah.
And then that's how I literally, at the end of the day, ended at Boston Media House. I didn't even know that existed, but I think maybe God knew that, hey, this is where I want you to be.
Also, after matric, you were like, okay, cool. Boston.
I didn't know it existed. It's just,
how did you find it?
It was a suggestion from my aunt, and it's like, but Boipelo, you always biz kids, because to be honest, I've always been a philanthropist from a very, very young age. I remember we used to
For
have a
people
movement.
who don't know what philanthropist is, please let them know. Because hey, the words are wording, eh?
Okay, so a philanthropist is somebody who is dedicated to giving back to the community.
Okay.
Yeah, servant at heart, servitude.
Yeah, no, me, I'm
Yeah.
not a philanthropist.
you know,
wanna
dealing
get
with
rewarded.
donations, you know. Obviously, if you're in corporate, maybe you call it, you know, social, you know,
Social
labor
development.
plan, or
Social
corporate
development.
social responsibility,
Yeah.
or corporate social investments. Those are the
CSI.
things. Yeah, basically.
I know they know. That one they know. Because a lot of
Yes.
towns, they know that one.
I'm big on philanthropy. You know, it's essentially equivalent to my leadership, you know, hurt as well. So I'm a woman who never gets, you know, wearing different hats, but yeah,
You wear different hats.
absolutely.
What are those hats?
Well, first being a minister, speaker, mentor, coach. You know,
Oh, you mentor.
I've
Is it
mentored-
just women or is it anybody?
anybody and everybody
yeah.
else. You know, timely so as well. So it really does depend.
It
It
depends on.
depends. It depends with what I'm presented at the time. I mean, sometimes I get to meet with somebody. You know, I feel like, or rather, I believe highly that I live a very deliberate and intentional life, to an extent that each and every moment that is orchestrated, it is something that is to give something, to give birth to something. Like, my life goes in such a way that it's not about "Yaphila fela nje." I know. Yeah, like, even if maybe I wanted it to be like that, I probably will not have it like that, because it's not how I've been called to live. You know, I live with intent.
So everything you do is intentional.
Very
So yeah, everybody she's heard, you heard that, ne?
intentional.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, like,
Intentional, deliberate.
yeah. I wish I
You
could live
must
with
be
that.
deliberate.
I really wish I could do that.
And you know,
but,
and you know, when you are deliberate, it gives you that essence of, I have to be deliberate. So even when you do something, you do it with the intentionality.
people will say I'm rude if I'm intentional about things.
Why?
I don't know. It just comes off as being rude. Like if I say, "Nah, I don't want to do that," they're like, "Why?" I'm like, I just don't want to do it."
No, okay, fine.
Because that's intentional.
No, but okay, fine. Intentionality also comes with having to have a direction in life. You don't just leave. You have a direction. Okay, Kimona, then I want to be there. So how do I get there? Intention. And you know what? Even if you leave intentionally, so it's going to be actually questioned by life itself. Because now I have to see if you have the power of standing even when you don't understand. If you say that I'm going to live a deliberate life, and you say that, you know what, I want to become a CEO, life will throw certain things to see if really, you
Curveballs.
have the qualities to become a CEO. Do you have the discipline to say that, you know what, this is the time that is dedicated for me to study this book of entrepreneur, and I need to have this, I need to have acquired this certain skill. That's intentionality.
Also, saying no is intentional.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And we move with different types of intentions in life.
Yeah, my intentions is to say no to everything that I feel like is not aligning to.
And that's very powerful.
Yeah, but they'll say it's rude. That's my thing.
How do you say it's rude? Because that is you.
You don't know people. Yeah.
No, and that's the thing. You see, now also it takes us back to the, there's people that have made decisions and choices based on, the ability to win validation.
Oh, yeah.
Go na le motho o mong o tsamaya ka koloi e expensive, mara sekoloto sa gae se fa.
Yeah, I know a couple.
You understand what I'm talking about?
I know a couple.
It's really about that. So people need to find themselves and be very real with themselves. Be authentic about who you are. Be authentic about the things that you want to do. And then also, never be afraid to pay the price for the prize.
True, but
The thing is that the process is way too long, because the wisdom of God works very slowly, but then it's stable. It's in the shortcut, guys.
it's a shortcut.
It's in the shortcut.
Oh, it's faster.
No, but then at the end of the day, and I will always forever be grateful for that, Meola. And she doesn't know me, but she came to me and said to me, and it's like, Wanaga, ho sepela go phala go kitima.
Sometimes, when I stamina, I know I get you.
No, I can't hide, but o kitimela kae? No, the thing is that, bophelo ga bona motloga pele, and it will always remain like that.
Yeah.
O ka nna ba popa, no, wa bona o le, Mr. Whatever, but ke go botsa. By a few years' time, wa kra kopana le wena, it's like, what happened?
Life happened.
And it's so unfortunate that it happens to most of people.
Your intentions can still be pure, and life can still happen.
Well, but then it takes you back. That's why I'm saying, like, authenticity. If it happens while your intentions are still pure, that's the thing. And I'm gonna say it. Just because ke mo bophelong and you've got this pure thing and whatever, perspective, it is what matters.
Oh yeah, true.
Somebody might see number 6, somebody might see number 9, and you cannot argue with me because they look the same.
That's true.
You know what I'm talking about.
It depends on where you stand.
So, but then for
perspective,
me, example, like I said, that it's important to have a teachable spirit. For me, it's about what is it that I'm learning about what I'm going through, and what is it that God is saying, or what is it that God is teaching me about what I'm going through.
But also, you must be able to unlearn certain things.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I have the ability to say that I am Aramokiromo.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm stubborn and firm in what I believe in, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I cannot, say to myself that Kiro. Like it does not mean it doesn't deprive me the rationality to say that I'm sorry, I was on the wrong side.
What do you think is harder, learning or unlearning?
I think probably unlearning.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Unlearning is way harder.
Yeah, because now when you grow up, you might find out that there are certain things that you have picked subconsciously that you are not aware of.
Better habits.
Absolutely. And it takes about 14 days to make a habit and another probably 21 days to break it, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's 60 or 30. 40 something, no, 42.
Is
I think
it?
I think it's 42 days to form a habit.
Yeah. Then in order for you to unlearn all of that, and also like you see now, it takes us back to the trauma. So I think another thing, what is more powerful is this. That's why now we have issues like mindset, mental illness and whatever, because if you're already losing in your mind, you can't win anywhere in life.
Here's a fun fact. I'm not sure if it's a fun fact or Mara. They're saying there's a certain point where humanity is gonna lose the ability to see sideways because we always.
Who's that?
Elephants.
Who's that?
You know that?
Is it?
Yeah, they say that we
are living in the most interesting times whereby people are challenging so many phenomena, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh.
It was about yesterday, I think I was following up on the Bill Gates and the conspiracies around him and so forth, and about this, how, he's actually wanting now to feed us with food that are actually made from machines and not necessarily from,
Oh yeah, they're printing meat now.
Like, tell me about it. Like, but now, you see, now, I get maybe it's the abuse of the resources that have been made available to us, or it's the changing times or whatever. But for me, I still say that it's so important to maintain your authenticity.
I think it's us looking at America, because America's like 300 years old. So it's very young. It's
very funny though. But if you look into it right now, there's so many people that are now coming into South Africa.
Yeah. It's because
they are so attracted to South Africa right at this moment.
Yeah.
And then it makes you question quite a lot.
Everybody's attracted to us, but we're looking outside. It's like a relationship. A relationship thing where you're married, but you're still looking.
And you still, now, it resonates well to say that, what is it? We need to now finally be the kind of a people that looks at what we have. Let's ask ourselves, let's introspect. What is it that they are seeing that we cannot see?
There's a lot of things.
A lot. And starting with us, especially the youth, because whatever the things that we are complaining about, whatever the things that we are saying they are actually problems, we are the ones who are actually at the receiving hand of becoming the problem solvers of those things.
Yeah, we have everything in South Africa.
So let's stop pointing out fingers. The government can only do so much as well, but we also need to start becoming the problem solvers.
Do you think the youth is lazy?
Do I think the youth is lazy? I wouldn't say the youth is lazy, but then I would definitely say that most of our youth have been challenged by different types of circumstances, given that we are in an inequality era as well. Mm-hmm. When we talk about the high rate of unemployment, inequality, and poverty, those are very sensitive issues. And then when you look at our background, you look at where we come from, especially given the historical, of our history, South Africa, from the apartheid era.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, by the way, so now you want me to say things that I didn't want to say.
Nobody watches it.
So fine. So I'm part of the Black Management Forum, right?
Yeah.
It's the lobbying structure in South Africa that obviously enhances the voices of the Black community. primarily based on what we have suffered, in regards to the period or the era of apartheid. So the Black Management Forum is one of the organizations that has actually structured in such a way that it's part of the people that have established the Black economic empowerment, right? So that alone gives us the ability to enhance the voices of the Black community, to also right the wrongs that were in the past, the prejudices, the inequalities that we have faced. To say that right now, since we've been liberated, or we say that we are in this era of democracy, it's so important that we get to give, the Black community the voice, platforms, the opportunities, that they need, the resources in order for them to utilize and to also have the voice and also be economically empowered.
I hope everybody heard that. But yeah, I think we don't have any more time left on the cameras, but is there anything that you'd like to share with us in closing?
Not really, unless if you have something to share with me or something that you need to ask me or anything.
Yo, yeah, you can give us a word of the day to the
word of the day.
Yeah, to the youth. This is gonna air on Wednesday, so
word of the day.
Yeah.
Word of the day.
Word of the day.
The sentence of the day.
Yeah,
sentence of the day.
Yeah, word is
of the day.
literally one
Yeah.
word. Sentence of the day.
But what I can tell you is that the answers that you seek will always and forever be in God. Put God first in everything that you do. And falling down really does not mean that you're a failure. Absolutely. And it really does not matter how many times have you fallen in life. It really does not matter how far you think you have went. But rather, the fact that you are always have, or been granted with the opportunity to wake up every single morning and breathe. It's God saying that he loves you and he's still got a purpose with you. So continue becoming the greatest and own up to yourself.
Word of the day.
Word of the day.
Thank you for coming to our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. What a pleasant one, Very, very, very amazing.
I'm not a the original host is very controversial. I wonder
how is it gonna be with the original host.
Yeah, no, me, I'm just standing in. Shout out to Darius, all love, but yeah.
Thank you, Darius, for this opportunity as well. In your absentia, we say God bless.
Yeah, God bless, Darius. But yeah, thank you to everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Thank you, Boipelo, Letlape. Hopefully you'll come back again and we'll...
Absolutely. And yeah, I don't know, maybe next time when I come back, but obviously looking forward.
Yo, hopefully we'll be huge for me.
Definitely you will. Cannot stay the same. Can never be the same,
Yeah. Thank you. And yeah.
That's it.